Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and in this video, we're going to be doing a deep dive champion guide on Godseeker Aniri. Now, I don't know when you're going to be watching this, but I am doing this guide in honor of the guaranteed summon event that Plarium is hosting in January of 2022, and we're going to be doing 25 void shards for a guaranteed Godseeker. So a lot of people in the community are going to either be summoning her or going for this event, so a good time to take a deep dive look at Godseeker, get you an infographic, and go over all of the grades and situational uses of this champion. So let's get into it. Alrighty, now first off, these events are going to be very touch and go. It's hard to say if it's good or not. The champion has to be very good to justify this because typically you're going to be pulling shards outside of a 2x event, which is obviously the best time to pull your shards because they're basically 2 for 1. So if you're going to pull 25 shards outside of a 2x, it's got to be a really, really good champion. And we'll get into how good Godseeker is and talk about if she's worth that or not. But anyway, Godseeker is in the index in the top row, the Sacred Order, and a new-ish epic to the Sacred Order. Was not in the game on launch, has kind of come to the recent days. I think it was released and added to the game in 2021, but this is Godseeker, a defense support champion. And let's go over a quick refresher course on the kit and the base stats and the things that stand out to us here for Godseeker. And I will also have this infographic down below in the vid info. It's also on ChoflyElite.com under the tier list. When you click on the champion, there will be a video and an infographic and all of that. But we'll get into everything on that infographic, but that's down below if you want to be able to pull that up as well. So first off, when we talk about the base stats, everything's pretty much what you would expect. One thing that does jump out is 45 resistance and 0 accuracy. 45 resistance is very good for an epic champion. The 0 accuracy is a little bit rough because she does need accuracy in one of the abilities on her kit. But being a defense champion, the defense is all right. It's not amazing. The base HP is actually a little bit low. The speed is perfectly normal, and everything else is kind of what you would expect. So as far as the kit, the A1 is going to be attack one enemy, heal the ally with the lowest HP by 5%, but it will not heal her. So even if she does have the lowest HP, it will go to someone else. It will never be used to heal her herself, even if she would qualify for that ability there. Then the A2 is going to be attack all enemies and then heal all allies by 15% of their max HP, which in this case is good. It's usually a bad thing, but in this case it's good because with her being a defense champion, you're probably not going to be building her with insane HP. So this ability will be very good in high HP teams. You pair her with people like Miscreated Monster and stuff like that, Sir Nicholas. You can get some pretty big heals going off with the A2 here. And then we're going to also, this is the best part of this ability, we're going to decrease the duration of all buffs on all enemies by 1 turn, and we're going to increase the duration of the buffs of our team by 1 turn. So if you pair her, or if you build her to go towards the back end of your rotation, you have your speed boosters and stuff boost up, then she's going to increase those buffs by 1 turn. So obviously it becomes apparent right away how impactful that ability can be if you get it in the right rotation to be going off at the right time. Then the A3 is going to be a very good revive. You can book this down to a 4-turn cooldown. We're going to revive somebody and then get them to half health and a 50% turn meter, but also reset the cooldown of all of their skills. So they're going to come fired up, ready to go. It's a very good revive for an epic champion. And then the passive, this is actually really good. You get a passive guaranteed effect of all healing that allies receive increased by 10%. And this does work with continuous heal buffs. I'll show you here in a little bit. It's not just like heals, like heal somebody for some certain amount. It also qualifies for continuous heal buffs. Gonna make Battle Khazar do a ton of healing and stuff, pairing with this passive. And then we have an active effect. If an ally is about to be killed, preempt that hit that was going to kill them by placing a revive on death buff on them before the damage is taken. So the revive on death buff is typically tough to get value out of because you don't know if it's going to be in action when that champion dies, but this time it's guaranteed to be, and she gets a revive. So she's going to do a revive on death on somebody, and after that she's going to be able to revive somebody on top of that. So lots of ability to heal our team and be very tanky and have multiple ways to bring people back into the fight while also increasing all of the healing that our team is going to be absorbing during battle. So a very cool kit in terms of just providing general support, revives, and heals for your entire team. But now let's head on over to the Godseeker I've got built, and we'll talk about the building, booking, masteries, and the whole process of putting her together. So here we are with the Godseeker I've got built on my account, and you know that I love the reflex set. Now, Godseeker, like I said, you want her kind of going towards the back end of your rotation after you get some buffs placed on people. So can be a good opportunity to help offset that by having her get those cooldowns refreshing at a little bit higher rate. Now, worth noting, if you're building some sort of unkillable comp or something, it needs to be super consistent, and you would not want that. But if you're using her in the Hydra or some sort of other scenario, just general dungeon farming over the course of a long battle, faction wars, then having something like the Reflex or Relentless or something can be super good on her to cycle through those abilities, have your revives, and have the all-important buff manipulation that she is going to be doing and getting that through the cycle as fast as possible. So a few different routes you can go in building her for sure. She's a champion that can be built many different ways, and there isn't really that one certain amazing style. It's going to really depend on where you're using her and how you're building the speeds around that to have her go with her abilities at the right time. So when we dive into the banner and the gear here, you do need accuracy to go ahead and get the ability on the A2 to decrease the duration of all buffs. So unfortunately, you are going to need accuracy for that one part of her kit. So you can go with an accuracy banner and try to get your accuracy in other spots, and then obviously you're just looking for defense and HP and speed. For the amulet, now her base HP is kind of low, and her defense is going to scale a little bit better. So you might want to get HP as the main stat on your amulet and your ring, and then maybe go for defense percent on the bottom pieces of your gear, like the glove and the armor and the boots, and then scoop up the HP where you can get it here on the big flat stat roll. So for the boots, obviously you can go speed, that's fine, and fit it into your rotation. But if you've got really good defense percent boots, especially in like a speed set like these can work fine, because like I said, she can go towards the back end of your rotation. She's not like an apothecary, an arbiter, or something like that that's boosting turn meter with Sandra and boosting speed. So you can have her kind of be a little bit slower, and then increase the duration of all those buffs that other people are placing. And then in the other slots, we're just looking for toughness. She does scale pretty well with defense. You can see here, because of I'm getting a toughness percent roll on all three of my bottom pieces, I went with defense, and then HP. So I did 2 out of 3 defense because those scale a little bit better, and then I got the big chunk flat HP rolls on the amulet and the ring here down below, because she's gonna struggle to get the HP up because the base is so much lower. So that's the reasoning there with those. The top ones are a lot more simple with her. We're just trying to get defense, HP, speed, and then enough accuracy and resistance to be viable for the content that we're clearing. So if you want to see how the stats came out on mine, I can pop this up and then pull myself off the screen here for a little bit. So if you want to compare your build to how mine ended up, 55k HP, 4,300 defense, 212 speed, whereas my other champions will be, 225 to 300, somewhere in there, and then I'll have her come on the back end and increase the duration of all the buffs. The crit rate and crit damage don't really matter a whole lot, and then enough accuracy and resistance around that 300 to 350 range to be viable in all of the PvE content I'm using her in, and then also if you're going to happen to use her in the Hydra or whatever for the relevant difficulty that you are trying to face. So then as we dive into the booking process, this is one of the downfalls of this champion. She loves to read. I think she takes 17 books. It's going to be 6 right here on the A1, plus 5 is 11, plus 3 is 14, plus 3 is 17. So now she's a good champion, so there's really nothing wrong with booking her. And this effect right here, you can see I was kind of wondering if I should book this or not, because I got good RNG and I got the insane amount of cooldowns that she has available with books on the A2 and the A3. There's 4 cooldowns. You got 1 right here and then 3 right here. And then you can get more, if you're in a team that's going to be dying a lot, you're trying to 3-star faction wars and it's brutal for you, then yeah, you'd want to go for this. You want to kind of see and use your books according to the content you're clearing and see if you really need the cooldown on the passive there. But this one, definitely, you want the cooldown here on the A2 for sure, because that's the ability you want popping off as often as possible. Then for the masteries, like, okay, you might want to go the offense tree if you're going to be using her in the clan boss or maybe even the Hydra or something like that. But if not, then it's totally viable to go down the defense and the support tree. And nice to get this the counterattack as well, because that'll be a consistent source of healing with her going crazy with the A1. And like I said in the infographic that I have down below, you can see the masteries whenever you want, and they're on the tier list and the website and all of that as well. Now I want to dive into showing you some battle footage so you can see exactly how Godseeker is going to be performing when you're using her in action. So right now we'll start with the A1. So remember, this is the ability that's going to heal the ally with the lowest HP, but it cannot heal her. So right now she actually does have the lowest HP. My Battle has a ton of HP, so he's probably around like 70,000 or so, and she's down around 40,000 or so. But when you watch, when I do this A1, it's going to heal the Battle. We go in, boom, and there you see the 4,900 heal going off on the battle. So it is still going to heal somebody even if she is the lowest, and it will not heal her. So just remember, you're going to need an ability that will, or a champion that will help synergize with her and keep her alive. But you see that her revive on death does proc off of her. So remember that ability that we were talking about right here under the passive with the active effect that will place a revive on death on somebody before they die. That can happen on herself. So the A1 heal can't happen on herself, but her passive can actually save herself, as you just saw in the example there in the Doom Tower with Battle. And another important one to cover is obviously the A2. This is a big calling card for her value as a champion. This is where we're going to do the AoE attack, and then we're also going to heal all allies, and we're going to be decreasing the buffs that all of our enemies have. You can see here they've got the defense up, the ally protection, and then we're going to increase the buffs of all of our allies. So you can see our Battle CORSAIR is about to have those continuous heals expire on him, but we're going to up those from 1 turn left to 2 turns left, and we're also going to decrease the duration of the opponent's buffs as long as we've got enough accuracy to pull that off. So here we'll go ahead and show you the A2 in action. Bang, you can see all those decreased buff durations, and the Battle CORSAIR's heals, they ticked up to 2 for a second until we took a turn, and now they're back at 1 again. So the A2 obviously insanely impactful. Just remember, again, you got to make sure you have enough accuracy, because that is required to lower the duration of the buffs of your opponents. We also like to talk about the champion's AI and how that functions. So what if we're in a situation where no opponents have any buffs, no allies have any buffs, so there's nothing the A2 will manipulate, there's no one to revive or anything like that? What will her AI do on auto? Boom. It will still do the AoE attack and default to that A2. Even if there is no value to be had off of buff manipulation, she's still going to default to that ability. She's not just going to do the A1 and save that. So that is something to be aware of if you're using her in the arena or something like that. And I do also want to let you see the revives in action. So what's going to happen right now is, as soon as they take a turn, they're going to target my food champion right here, which happens to be Frozen Banshee, and you'll see that revive on death get placed on her before she dies, and then revive her after she dies. You've already seen it once, but I'll show you again. So here it comes. Bang, the revive on death got placed, and then it revives her. So that is obviously super clutch. And then if they die again, remember, we still have our other revive ability right here. Revive a dead ally, and you can see that we are able to bring the Frozen Banshee back again for a second time right away. So lots of support here coming from Godseeker with 2 different revives, lots of heals, and lots of buff manipulation. So now let's go ahead and pull up some grades here and talk about how Godseeker stacks up in the different areas of the game. So this is from my tier list, and this is what the grades look like on the website, but I'll give you a little bit of context here on this. So clan boss, she is okay in the clan boss, but you need a very specific comp and a very specific build to take advantage of that. So it's tough because she's either really good or kind of meh. So it can be super impactful, but you're really gonna need to work hard to build a specific team around utilizing her. And then for the we'll go left to right. For the spider, Obviously going to be great by increasing the buffs and all that, as long as you build the right team, and help healing to counteract the poisons that all the spiderlings are doing and stuff like that. She's actually going to be really, really good in the keeps, because obviously in the force keep with the healing and the support if somebody happens to die, but then also in the magic and the spirit keep where you want to decrease duration of buffs and all of that. She's gonna be great for there. The void keep, all heals are great there, because the boss there does a bunch of poisons, so obviously she's gonna be amazing there. For the other dungeons, Dragon, Fire Knight, and Ice Golem, so Fire Knight, she doesn't have multi-hitters or anything on the A1. She's got the single target ability there, but she could technically still be decent there. And then in the Dragon and the Golem, she's going to be an amazing support and do perfectly fine there. For the Doom Tower and Faction Wars, going to be very good. Obviously in Faction Wars, when you're trying to 3-star content, having a healer and a support is going to make that immensely easy for you. So she actually gets a super meta score of 11. I'll go above 10 if somebody's like super meta. So you'll see like Duchess is like a 12 in the arena, because I don't want like 150 champions to be rated 10, so I need something above and beyond for like your Duchess, your Warlord, your Siphi, and stuff like that. But Godseeker is definitely worthy. She is amazing in Faction Wars to help be a support and help you 3-star that content, and she could even be viable, not like a 10 or anything in the arena, but in the tag team arena with the double revives and the buff manipulation, I could see her making sense in the right team there. Not going to be great as a campaign farmer, but could help you in 3-starring content for sure, because of all the support that she brings. So yeah, all in all, a very solid epic, and I think Plarium did a pretty good job designing her. She's got some cool stuff going on with the kit, with the revive on death and the passive, making healing more impactful. Oh, by the way, I said I would show that to you, so actually let me show you. The healing does actually work with continuous heal. So I'm going to demonstrate this for you by showing you Bad Alcazar putting continuous heal buffs on himself. And when he takes his turn right here coming up, and boom, you're going to see the healing procs right there. You saw those two 11,112s. That is the continuous heal procs from the buffs that he had on himself. But now let's see what he heals for with the passive of Godseeker boosting his continuous heal. Okay, so remember, it was just over 11,000, and now let's see what he heals for right here when he takes his turn. And it was after Saris last time, and bang, now it's 12,223. So it was just over 11,000, but because of that passive that Godseeker has right here under the passive effect where it says increases the amount of healing that allies receive by 10%. I know a question that I had when I was diving into building her and testing her was, does that work with continuous heal buffs, or is it just like actual healing that takes place? Does it work with the buffs too? And it does work with the buffs too, so it makes that ability even better. You get her paired with people that place continuous heals, and they're just going to be that much stronger. So yeah, you know, in conclusion, I think Plarium did a good job designing her. She's a fun champion. She's cool. She's great for progression. She's good for faction wars, and pretty good in lots of different areas of the game. Lots of buff manipulation, heals, a very good support, and worthy of being a void epic. Now, should you pull 25 voids for her outside of a 2x event? I'd say for the majority of people, probably not. You're just gonna get so much more value over the longevity of your account by making sure you pull shards, especially void shards, during 2x events. But she is solid, so you know, you're gonna have to weigh your choices based on your account. But I'd say for most people, if I had to make one sweeping generalization rule, I would say probably lean towards pulling your shards during 2x events if you can help it. But that's not a knock on Godseeker. She is a very cool champion. She's a very good support and a very good progression champion for any of you that are out there in the early to mid game, or you haven't finished the Sacred Order faction wars yet. So that's going to do it for this deep dive champion guide on Godseeker Aniri. And if you are pulling shards for her, good luck. Hopefully you get something else impactful besides just getting her on the 25th shard. And remember, I will have that infographic down below if you would like to pull that up and take a look. Just remember to build the masteries a little bit differently if you're going to be using her in the clan boss or the Hydra, or if you don't need that resistance mastery, there's better options you can take as well. So that'll do it for me on this one. Thanks for watching. Peace.